Good morning, my friend. Welcome back to Today English Podcast. Take a deep breath. Feel relaxed. Today, we're going to talk about something very close to all of us, life at home. Not about travel, not about business, not about books or movies, but about our simple, daily home life. The life we live every single day, from the moment we open our eyes to the moment we go to sleep. I want you to listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because home, this small world we live in, is full of English words, sentences, and feelings that we use every day. So today, we're going to explore how to talk about life at home in simple, real, natural English. And don't worry, everything you hear today will be slow, clear, and friendly, just like a good conversation with a kind friend. So, let's begin. Imagine this. The sun is rising. Light is coming through the window. You open your eyes slowly and stretch your arms. It's morning. A new day is waiting for you. What's the first thing you do at home every morning? Do you check your phone? Do you go straight to the kitchen for coffee? Or do you stay in bed a little longer, thinking about your day? See, even in these simple moments, there is English to learn. Let's start from the beginning, the morning routine. When you wake up, you can say, I wake up at 7, or I usually wake up early. If you get out of bed, you say, I get up at 7:30. These two are not the same, my friend. Wake up means your eyes are open. You are not sleeping anymore. But get up means you leave your bed. It's a small difference, but in English, small details matter. You stretch. Maybe yawn a little, and walk to the bathroom. Now you can say, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, or I take a shower. Try saying it slowly. I take a shower every morning. Can you say it with me? I take a shower every morning. Good. Now you can also say, I get dressed. That means you put on your clothes. If you wear something special, you can say, I put on my favorite shirt, or I wear a blue t-shirt today. At home, we use many of these small but useful expressions every day. They sound easy, but when you can say them naturally, your English starts to feel alive. After getting ready, maybe you go to the kitchen. The smell of breakfast fills the air. You open the fridge, take out milk, eggs, or maybe bread. You can say, I make breakfast, I fry some eggs, I pour milk into a glass, I eat toast with jam. Each sentence is short, simple, but full of daily meaning. If you live with your family, you might say, my mom is in the kitchen, or my brother is still sleeping. If you live alone, maybe you say, I like quiet mornings. Notice how small words like in, on, still, make your English sound natural. You don't need big, complicated grammar. You just need to feel how these words connect with daily life. Now, let's talk about what happens next. You finish breakfast. You wash the dishes. You can say, I wash the dishes after breakfast, or I clean the table. Maybe you make your bed. I make my bed every morning. Do you know what that means? It means you fix the blanket and pillow so the bed looks nice and tidy. These are small habits, but when you describe them in English, you learn how to speak about real actions in your daily life. Let's continue. You go to your room to check something. Maybe you open your laptop. Maybe you look outside the window. You think about your day. At that moment, you can say, I plan my day, I check my to-do list, or I think about what to do next. See how simple it is? These small sentences are like small keys. They help you open new doors in English. If you can describe your own life at home, you can talk with anyone. Because everyone has a home. Everyone eats, sleeps, cleans, and thinks. That's why talking about life at home is one of the best ways to practice English. Let's imagine the morning moves slowly forward. You hear some sounds, the sound of a clock ticking, water running, a door opening. You can describe what you hear. I hear the water running in the bathroom. I hear birds outside. I hear my neighbor talking. Or, it's quiet at home this morning. Try saying it with me. It's quiet at home this morning. Good job. These small sentences are full of life. They make your English sound real, emotional, and personal. Now, imagine you are making tea. You say, I boil water, I pour it into a cup, I add sugar, I stir it with a spoon. Simple actions, but when you connect them, it becomes a story. A small story of your morning. You can say, I sit by the window and drink my tea slowly, or I like quiet mornings when I can just sit and think. That's how we use English to talk about peaceful moments at home. And then, maybe you start preparing for your day, school, work, or study. You can say, I pack my bag, I check my phone, I leave home at 8. You see, everything from I wake up to I leave home is full of natural English sentences. When you practice them slowly, your pronunciation improves. When you repeat them every day, your fluency grows. And when you understand their feeling, your confidence becomes stronger. Because English is not only grammar, it's life. At this point, take a moment to think. What does your own morning look like? Can you describe it in English? Can you say what you do, what you see, what you feel? Try to imagine your morning as a small story. Maybe it's quiet. Maybe it's busy. Maybe it's full of laughter, or sometimes, just silence. Whatever it is, you can express it in English. That's the magic of learning through storytelling. When you use English to describe real life, you don't just study, you live it. You understand words not from books, but from your own world. Your kitchen, your room, your family, your morning, these become your English classroom. And as you listen to this podcast, I want you to repeat after me slowly sometimes. When you hear something you like, say it again. When you hear a new word, imagine it in your own life. That's how you make English part of you. So today, we began our journey, a simple, warm morning at home. We learned how to talk about waking up, getting ready, eating breakfast, and preparing for the day. But our home story doesn't end here. The day has just started. What happens next? What do we do during the day, when we're at home, cleaning, relaxing, or spending time with family? We'll discover that in the next part of our story. Because every part of home life, morning, afternoon, and night, has something beautiful to teach us in English. So, take a deep breath again. You did great in this section. You listened, imagined, and learned. Now, get ready. In the next section, we'll explore life at home during the day, how to talk about cleaning, cooking, relaxing, and spending time with family. Imagine it's around 10 or 11 in the morning. You've finished breakfast. You look around and think, I should clean up a little. That's something everyone does. We clean, we cook, we organize. It's part of our daily rhythm. You can say, I clean my room. I sweep the floor. I mop the floor. I dust the furniture. Each of these sentences describes a simple, clear action. For example, when you use a broom, you say, I sweep the floor. When you use water and a mop, you say, I mop the floor. When you remove dust from your table, you say, I dust the furniture. You can also say, I tidy up my room. Tidy up means to make things neat, not too messy. You can say, I tidy up my desk, I tidy up my bed, I tidy up the living room. These are very natural phrases you can use every day in English. Now, let's imagine you are doing laundry. You take your clothes and say, I do the laundry. Not wash the clothes, though that's also okay, but do the laundry is what native speakers say most often. You can also say, I hang the clothes to dry, or I fold the clothes. When you fold your clothes, you make them neat and ready to put in the closet. You can say, I put the clothes away. That means you place them in their proper place, maybe in a drawer or cupboard. While cleaning, maybe you play some music. You can say, I listen to music while I clean. This is a beautiful sentence because it connects two actions with while. It means you do them at the same time. You can also say, I open the windows to let fresh air in, or I water the plants. Every little thing you do at home can be turned into English practice. Because every small action has a small English story behind it. Now, maybe it's lunchtime. The smell of food fills the house again. You can say, I cook lunch. I make rice. I cut some vegetables. I fry chicken. I prepare the table. These are very natural and useful verbs. Cook means you make food. Cut means you use a knife. Prepare means you get things ready. When everything is ready, you can say, I sit down to eat, or I have lunch with my family. You can also use have for meals. I have breakfast. I have lunch. I have dinner. Listen to this small story and repeat in your mind, I cook lunch for my family. We sit together and talk while eating. It feels warm and happy. Can you imagine that? That's not just English. That's real life expressed in simple words. After lunch, maybe you feel a little sleepy. It happens to everyone. You can say, I take a short nap. A nap is a short sleep in the afternoon. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe 1 hour. You wake up and say, I feel fresh again. If you don't sleep, maybe you rest. You can say, I rest on the sofa. I lie down for a while. I close my eyes and relax. Simple, peaceful, natural English. Later in the day, maybe you do something relaxing. You can say, I watch TV. I watch a movie. I listen to music. I read a book. I check my phone. Or maybe you say, I call my friend. I talk to my parents. I spend time with my family. Each sentence tells a small story of connection and comfort. When you describe what you do at home, you are also describing your emotions, peace, rest, happiness, sometimes even boredom. And that's beautiful because English is not only words, it's feelings. Now, let's imagine you're in the living room. The window is open. You can hear birds or maybe the sound of cars outside. You sit on the sofa and say, I relax in the living room. You can also say, I watch the news. I check social media. I send a message to my friend. These are modern, daily actions, real English for daily life. And sometimes, when you are alone, you can say, I enjoy quiet afternoons, or I like being at home. These sentences are simple, but full of emotion. Try saying this one, I like being at home. It's short, but it feels peaceful, right? In the afternoon, maybe you clean the kitchen again after lunch. You can say, I wash the dishes. I wipe the table. I throw away the garbage. Each sentence has one clear action, wash, wipe, throw. You can combine them naturally. I wash the dishes and wipe the table, or I clean the kitchen after lunch. You see, these small daily sentences are like small English exercises. They help your mouth move, your tongue learn rhythm, and your mind think in English. Later, you might do something creative or personal. Maybe you paint. Maybe you write. Maybe you study English, just like now. You can say, I study English in the afternoon, or I listen to Today English podcast every day. You see? You can even practice this very sentence. Learning English doesn't always need books. Sometimes, you just need your daily life, your actions, your feelings, your voice. When you use English to describe real life, it stays in your memory naturally. Now, let's look around your home again. Maybe you notice things. The light on the wall, the sound of a fan, the smell of cooking from another room. You can say, the house feels warm, or the kitchen smells nice, or the living room looks clean. These are feeling sentences. They describe how something feels, smells, or looks. They make your English richer and more alive. Try this one. My home feels peaceful today. Say it slowly. My home feels peaceful today. See how soft and real it sounds? Let's imagine now it's late afternoon. The sun is starting to go down. Light comes through the window, golden and warm. Maybe you're sitting quietly, thinking about your day. You can say, I watch the sunset. I sit by the window and relax. I feel thankful for this simple day. And that's what makes English beautiful. It lets you describe not only what you do, but also how you feel. Because when you say, I feel thankful, you're not just using a word, you're sharing your heart. So now, before we move to the evening, let's take a moment. You've learned how to talk about cleaning, cooking, resting, relaxing, all the little parts of daily home life. You can describe actions like, I wash, I cook, I rest, I read. You can describe feelings like, I feel happy, I feel relaxed, I feel peaceful. These simple sentences are powerful. They make you confident in English because they come from your real experience. So, next time when you clean your room or cook your meal, try saying those things in English, even if you're alone. Say, I'm cleaning the floor or I'm cooking rice. Your home will become your English classroom. Your daily life will become your English teacher. Now, as the day slowly turns into evening, lights begin to shine outside and the house becomes quiet again. This is a new part of our story, the evening at home. A time for family, for food, for rest, and for reflection. We'll talk about that in the next section. So, stay with me, take a breath, and remember, your English grows stronger each time you listen, imagine, and speak with your heart. Imagine this. You're sitting on the sofa. The lights in the living room are on. You look at the clock, it's around 6 or 7. You can say, it's evening now. I feel tired but happy. I'm relaxing after a long day. Maybe someone in your family is in the kitchen. You can say, my mom is cooking dinner. My dad is watching TV. My brother is playing a game. My sister is talking on the phone. These sentences are all in the present continuous tense, is cooking, is watching, is playing, is talking. They describe what's happening right now at this very moment. If you can use this tense naturally, your English will sound alive and fluent. Now, let's move to the kitchen. The smell of food is everywhere. You can hear the sound of something frying, water boiling, and plates being placed on the table. You can say, I'm helping to set the table. I'm putting out the plates. I'm pouring water into glasses. I'm helping my mom cook. See how small and simple these sentences are, but how natural they sound. Each of them can be spoken clearly and slowly. You can also say, we are preparing dinner together. This shows teamwork, a family feeling. Sometimes, we don't just describe actions, we describe feelings. You can say, it feels nice to be together. I love evenings at home. It smells so good in the kitchen. Simple, soft, beautiful English that connects language with emotion. Now everyone sits around the table. Dinner time begins. You can say, we're having dinner, or we're eating together. If you want to talk about what's on the table, you can say, we have rice and vegetables. We have fish and soup. We have chicken and salad. You can also describe what you like. I like spicy food. I like warm soup on a cool evening. I don't like too much salt. These sentences help you express personal taste, something people talk about often in real conversations. During dinner, people talk. It's one of the best times to practice listening and speaking. You can hear many small conversations at the table. How was your day? It was good, just a little busy. What did you do at school? We had an exam today. Oh, really? How was it? It was okay. I think I did well. Small, simple, friendly questions, but they are real English conversation patterns used every day. You can practice these lines with your family or even by yourself. When you talk about your day, you can say, I had a good day. I learned something new. I finished my work. I watched a funny video. You can also show interest in someone else's day by asking, what about you? How was your day? That's how real communication starts, with small questions that show care. After dinner, maybe you talk a little longer. You can say, we sit and talk for a while. We laugh together. We share stories. We enjoy the time. Or maybe you say, we watch TV together after dinner, or we clean up the kitchen. If you clean, you can say, I wash the dishes. I dry the plates. I put everything back in its place. Remember this small phrase, put back. It means to return something to where it belongs. You can say, I put the dishes back in the cupboard. I put the food back in the fridge. These small action verbs make your English sound active and real. After dinner, the evening becomes quiet again. You can say, the house feels calm. The lights are soft. The night air comes through the window. Maybe you make some tea again. You can say, I make a cup of tea after dinner. I sit and drink tea while listening to music. I check my messages before bed. These little evening habits are part of everyone's daily life, and when you can describe them in English, you become more fluent naturally. Sometimes, in the evening, we think about our day. You can say, I think about what I did today. I feel thankful for this day. I hope tomorrow will be good. Reflection is a very human thing. And when you reflect in English, even with simple sentences, your thoughts become clearer and your English becomes more emotional and expressive. Try this small reflection with me. Today was a simple day, but it was good. I worked, I ate, I laughed, and I learned something new. Say it slowly. Feel it. This is the rhythm of natural English, calm, clear, full of feeling. Now maybe someone in your family says good night. You can say, good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Sleep well. See you in the morning. Small sentences, but full of warmth. These are the words that make English feel alive in real family life. Even if you live alone, you can still say softly to yourself, good night. I'm thankful for today. I'll rest and start fresh tomorrow. That small self-talk helps you practice English and keep your heart peaceful at the same time. Before the day ends, maybe you check something on your phone, maybe you read a short story, maybe you just sit in silence. You can say, I'm relaxing before bed, or I'm getting ready to sleep. You can also describe what you see around you. The lights are off in the other rooms. The street outside is quiet. I hear the sound of the clock. These details help you connect with your surroundings and with the English words that describe them. Evening at home teaches us something important. Language is not only for big moments, it's for small, ordinary, everyday moments too. Moments when you talk, eat, laugh, and rest. That's where real English lives. If you can describe your evening at home clearly, you can describe anything. Because the words you use for daily life are the foundation of fluent speaking. So, as this part of our story ends, remember this. Home is your best English practice place. Every sound, every action, every feeling, it can be turned into a small English story. When you say, I'm eating dinner, I'm washing the dishes, I'm talking with my family, I'm relaxing at home, you are not just learning words, you are building real fluency. So tonight, before you go to sleep, try to think in English about your day. Say quietly in your mind, I woke up early. I cleaned my room. I cooked lunch. I talked with my family. I feel thankful. That small habit will change your English forever. Because when you start thinking in English, you don't just speak it, you live it. And now, my friend, our evening story comes to an end. But there's still one more part waiting, the quiet night at home. When the lights go off, the house sleeps, and you find peace inside yourself. In the next section, we'll talk about nighttime routines, sleep, and inner reflection in calm, beautiful, simple English. The sky outside is dark now. The noise of the day has faded away. The streets are quiet, and lights shine softly through the windows. It's night, the calm part of the day. You are still at home, in your own small world. Maybe you are sitting on your bed, maybe on the sofa, or maybe you're still at your desk. Wherever you are, it's time to slow down, to breathe, to think, to rest. Evenings at home are busy, but nights are gentle. At night, everything feels slower, softer, and more peaceful. And tonight, we'll talk about how to describe this quiet time in simple, natural English. You look around your room. Maybe your bed is ready, the blanket looks soft, the pillow looks comfortable. You can say, I'm getting ready for bed. I'm changing into my pajamas. I'm turning off the lights. I'm closing the windows. Each of these sentences shows small but real actions that everyone does before sleeping. They are part of daily English, part of life. You can also say, I brush my teeth before bed. I wash my face before I sleep. I check my phone one last time. If you want to describe your mood, you can say, I feel sleepy. I'm tired but relaxed. I'm ready to rest. These sentences are calm and clear. They help you speak with natural emotion. Sometimes before bed, people like to do small, quiet activities. Maybe you like to read. You can say, I read a few pages of a book before bed. Or if you like music, I listen to soft music before sleeping. If you use your phone, I scroll through my phone for a few minutes. But be careful, that one can make you sleep late. You can also say, I write in my diary. I think about my day. I plan my tomorrow. These are beautiful, peaceful ways to end your day. Now, imagine you are turning off the lights. The room becomes darker, only a small light glows. You can say, I turn off the main light and keep a small lamp on. I lie down and close my eyes. I take a deep breath. When you take that breath, you feel everything become quiet, just the sound of your heartbeat and the night outside. You can say, I listen to the sound of the night. I hear the crickets. I hear the clock ticking, or it's so quiet and peaceful. These short sentences make you more connected with your surroundings and your English becomes full of feeling. Before you fall asleep, maybe your mind starts to think. You remember your day, the morning, the afternoon, the evening. You can say, I think about everything I did today. I feel thankful for this day. I hope tomorrow will be another good day. This is called reflection, and it's one of the best ways to practice English. Because when you think in English, you train your mind to create words from feelings. You don't translate. You live the language. Try this little reflection with me now. Today was a good day. I woke up early. I worked hard. I spent time with my family. I relaxed. And now I'm ready to sleep. Say it softly to yourself. It feels peaceful, doesn't it? That's the beauty of learning English through your own life. Sometimes, before sleeping, people talk quietly. Maybe you say, good night to someone you love. You can say, good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Sleep well, or sweet dreams. If you live alone, you can still say to yourself, good night, world. Good night today. I'll see you tomorrow. Even when you speak these words alone, they carry emotion. They remind you that English is not just for talking, it's for feeling. Now, you lie down on your bed. The blanket feels soft. The pillow feels cool. You can say, I lie down and close my eyes. I feel comfortable. I feel safe. I slowly fall asleep. When you describe small actions like this, your English becomes natural, because these are the same things native speakers say when they describe their own night routines. You can even say, I like this quiet time before sleep, or I think about happy memories. English becomes more meaningful when you connect it to your real life and your emotions. In the silence of the night, sometimes thoughts come and go. You remember your friends, your dreams, your plans. Maybe you think about learning English, about how far you've come, how much you've improved. And you can say, I'm proud of myself. I'm happy that I'm learning English. I'm thankful for what I have. These are not just English sentences. They are thoughts of self-kindness, and when you say them in English, they become part of your heart and your voice. Let's practice one more soft self-reflection together before sleep. I did my best today. Maybe not everything was perfect, but it was enough. I learned something new. I helped someone. I smiled. And I'm thankful for this small, simple day. Say it slowly with me. Let every word feel calm. Because English spoken with peace becomes easier, more natural, and more beautiful. Now the house is completely quiet. Lights are off. Outside, you can hear only the soft sounds of the night. You can say, the house is sleeping. The city is quiet. The stars are shining outside. You can also say, I close my eyes and let my mind rest. I feel peaceful. I'm ready for tomorrow. This is the language of rest, gentle, slow, and full of warmth. It's the kind of English that doesn't just train your mouth, it calms your heart. And as you fall asleep, remember this. Every small English sentence you learn today is connected to your real life. You learned how to talk about waking up, cleaning, eating, relaxing, and now sleeping. You learned not from books, but from the rhythm of life. When you use English to describe your daily moments, you don't just practice words, you build a life in English. A life that feels natural, calm, and confident. So, as you drift into sleep, you can whisper softly, "I'm learning English through my life. I'm proud of myself. I'll speak even better tomorrow." And that, my friend, is the perfect way to end your day, with peace, gratitude, and gentle English words in your mind. The morning has passed. The afternoon has gone. The night has ended. And now it's a brand new day. You open your eyes again, and the light of the sun touches your face. A new day means a new chance, a new opportunity to live, to feel, and to learn. Every sunrise tells you something. You can start again. And in this new day, you can also start again with English. Because English is not something you learn once. It's something you grow with every day, little by little, like a plant in the garden of your mind. Let's talk about that idea, learning English through daily life. You don't need to go to a big classroom or read heavy grammar books every day. You can practice English at home while living your normal life. That's what makes it beautiful. It becomes part of who you are. Think about your morning. When you make your bed, say to yourself, "I'm making my bed." When you drink water, say, "I'm drinking a glass of water." When you open the window, say, "I'm opening the window." The air feels fresh. These small sentences are your teachers. You don't need a classroom. You don't need a textbook. Your home, your life, is your classroom. Everything you touch, every sound you hear, every feeling you have can be turned into English words. This is what I call living English. It's not just learning. It's living with English in your real life. When you talk to yourself in English, even quietly, your brain becomes comfortable with it. You don't need to wait for someone to practice with. You can be your own practice partner. You can walk around your home and describe what you're doing. "I'm cooking breakfast. I'm cleaning the table. I'm opening the fridge. I'm watching TV. I'm folding clothes. I'm writing something." Simple words, simple sentences, but they make your English alive. They make your speaking faster, your listening sharper, and your thinking clearer. Let's imagine a small scene together. You're standing in the kitchen. You're preparing food. You can say, "I'm cutting vegetables. I'm boiling water. I'm making tea." And if you want to make your English more natural, add feelings or reasons. You can say, "I'm making tea because it helps me feel relaxed," or "I'm cooking breakfast because I'm hungry and I love the smell of eggs in the morning." When you connect action with feeling, your English becomes storytelling. And storytelling English is the most powerful English because it's full of life. Now, let's think about another habit, listening. Listening is like breathing for language learners. When you listen often, your ears become trained. You start to understand English naturally without translating. So, at home, you can make English a small part of your daily sound world. When you cook, play soft English podcasts. When you clean, listen to slow English stories. When you relax, watch short English videos or songs with subtitles. You don't have to understand everything. You just have to let English enter your world, little by little, every day. Even 5 minutes a day is powerful. Because when English becomes part of your environment, your brain starts to believe this language is part of my life. Now let's talk about mindset, how you think when you learn. Many people feel afraid when they speak English. They think, "What if I make a mistake? What if people don't understand me?" But remember this, mistakes are signs of growth. Every mistake is a small teacher. When you say something wrong, your brain learns the right way next time. When you forget a word, it means your brain is trying to remember. That's learning. So don't be afraid. When you speak English, speak with your heart, not your fear. Be kind to yourself. Say, "It's okay. I'm learning." Say, "I'm improving every day." Because you are. Let's imagine again, you're sitting at home, maybe with your notebook open. You've just finished breakfast. The sun is shining. You feel peaceful. You decide to practice English for a few minutes. You write a short paragraph about your morning. You write, "Today I woke up early. I made breakfast. I washed the dishes. Now I'm sitting near the window, listening to the birds." You read it out loud, slowly, softly. You listen to your own voice. You correct small mistakes. And you smile because you did it. That small paragraph, that small effort, is a big step forward. Every day you do this, your English becomes more natural. When you build small English habits at home, you start to feel more confident. And confidence is not about speaking perfectly, it's about speaking freely. So, here are some gentle habits you can try each day. Wake up and say one good morning sentence in English. Describe one thing you're doing like, "I'm brushing my teeth" or "I'm making coffee." Listen to one English audio while you clean or walk. Write one small note about your day. Say one kind sentence to yourself before bed like, "I did my best today." These habits are small, but they build something powerful, a daily English rhythm. They help your brain think in English without effort. Now, maybe you ask, but how long will it take to speak English fluently? That's a good question. And the answer is, it depends on your heart. If you practice with pressure, it feels heavy and slow. But if you practice with love, it feels light and natural. You don't need to study all day. You just need to make English part of your life, like tea in the morning or sunlight through your window. When you practice with joy, your mind opens. You start to feel that English is not a subject, it's a friend. A kind friend that helps you connect with the world. Let's take a deep breath together. Breathe in and out. You're doing great. You're learning English not just with your mind, but with your emotions, your home, and your heart. That's what makes your journey special. So whenever you clean, cook, talk, or rest, remember that English can live inside those moments. You can whisper small sentences. You can listen to short stories. You can think in English while doing simple things. And day by day, your English will grow, naturally, gently, beautifully. When you think about it, home is the best classroom in the world. It's full of real things to talk about: your table, your food, your clothes, your thoughts. Every sound, every smell, every feeling can become an English sentence. You don't have to go anywhere special. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. The best time is now. The best place is where you are. So today, promise yourself this: I will use English in my real life. I will speak even if it's not perfect. I will listen with an open heart. I will keep going. Because your English journey is not just about words, it's about confidence, peace, and connection. And it all begins right here at home. There are days when learning English feels easy. You wake up full of energy. You listen to a podcast, you repeat new sentences, and you feel proud of yourself. But there are also days when it feels hard. You forget words. You feel tired. You feel like you are not improving. And that's okay. Because every learner, every single person learning something new, has good days and slow days. Even native speakers forget words sometimes. Even teachers make small mistakes. So when you feel like you're not improving, take a deep breath and remind yourself, you are still learning. Learning English is not a race. It's not about being perfect. It's about staying kind to yourself every step of the way. Let's imagine a quiet morning together. You wake up and sit near your window. You look outside, the sky is bright, the air feels calm. You take your notebook and you write one simple sentence in English. Today, I will do my best. That's it. Not, I will study for 5 hours. Not, I will memorize 100 words. Just one simple, powerful promise: I will do my best. Because doing your best doesn't mean doing everything. It means giving your heart to what you can do today. If you can only listen for 10 minutes, that's enough. If you can only write one paragraph, that's enough. If you can only speak one new sentence, that's enough. What matters is not how much you do, but how often you do it. Small steps every day are more powerful than big steps once a week. Sometimes, You might look at other learners and think, they speak better than me. They learn faster than me. They sound more fluent. But remember, your journey is your own. You don't need to walk someone else's path. You just need to keep moving on your own path, one gentle step at a time. It's like climbing a small hill. When you look up, it feels far. But when you look back, you realize how high you've already come. That's progress, quiet, invisible, but real. So when you feel tired, look back. Remember your first English word. Remember your first English sentence. Remember the first time you understood a small story. Those moments are proof that you're growing. Now, let's talk about confidence. Confidence doesn't come from speaking perfectly. It comes from speaking bravely. When you speak English, you are already brave because you're expressing your heart in a language that isn't your first. That takes courage. So every time you say something, even if it's not perfect, celebrate that moment. Say to yourself, I spoke today. I used my voice. I'm becoming confident. Confidence grows like a plant, a little water every day, a little sunlight every day. If you practice daily, your confidence will grow naturally. You don't have to force it. Here's a small story for you. There was once a young woman who wanted to speak English fluently. Every day, she listened to podcasts, watched movies, and practiced speaking alone. But she always felt nervous when talking to other people. One day, she joined an online English club. The first time she spoke, she made many mistakes. She forgot words, she paused a lot, and she felt embarrassed. But instead of stopping, she smiled and said, "Sorry, I'm still learning." And everyone clapped for her. They said, "Don't worry. You're doing great." That small kindness gave her courage. From that day, she spoke a little more, a little better, a little louder. And in a few months, she could share her thoughts freely. What changed? Not her grammar. Not her vocabulary. Her mindset. She stopped being afraid of mistakes. She started believing in herself. And that's the secret belief. You see, motivation and confidence are connected. When you believe in yourself, you feel motivated to keep learning. When you feel motivated, your confidence grows. It's like a circle that feeds itself. So how do you keep motivation alive every day? Here are a few soft, gentle ways. When you wake up, listen to one English sentence that inspires you. Something like, I'm getting better every day. Repeat it slowly. Feel it. Believe it. When you feel lazy or tired, don't push yourself too hard. Just listen to English passively, maybe while cooking, walking, or resting. Let English be your background music, not your homework. And when you achieve something small, maybe you understand a new word, finish a video, or write a paragraph, celebrate it. Smile and say, "Good job, me." That small kindness to yourself makes a big difference. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is normal. Fear says, I care about this. You're afraid to speak English because you care about speaking well. That's not weakness, that's love. But fear becomes smaller when you take small actions. If you're afraid to speak, start with whispering to yourself. Then talk to a mirror. Then record your voice. Then talk to one friend. Each small step teaches your brain, I can do this. And soon, fear becomes confidence. Sometimes, motivation hides. You wake up one day and you just don't feel like studying. You think, I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and you still don't feel like it. That's okay too. You are human, not a machine. You need rest. You need breaks. The key is not to quit, just to rest and return. If one day you can't study, don't feel guilty. Just say, I'll try again tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, take one small step. That's all it takes to stay on track. Motivation is not about being perfect every day, it's about coming back every time you fall. Let's imagine another scene together. You're sitting with your cup of tea. You open your notebook. You look at the small sentences you've written over the past few weeks. You see your handwriting, your progress, your mistakes, your courage. You smile softly. That notebook is more than paper, it's your story. A story of patience. A story of progress. A story of never giving up. You whisper to yourself, I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm not where I used to be. I'm better than yesterday. And that's true. You're better than yesterday, even if it's just one new word or one new thought. Before we end this section, I want you to say something with me. Say it slowly, clearly, and with feeling. I'm learning English every day. I make mistakes, and that's okay. I'm growing. I'm confident. I'm proud of myself. Beautiful. Every time you say those words, you remind your brain that you're on the right path. You remind yourself that English is not just about speaking, it's about believing. So, my friend, keep this in your heart. The most powerful English learners are not the ones who study the most. They are the ones who keep going, who keep smiling, who keep believing. Even on quiet days, even on tired days, even when no one is watching, they keep practicing. And one day, they look back and realize they can speak, they can understand, they can feel English deeply. And that day will come for you too, because you are already on your way. Think about it for a moment. Why do we learn languages? Not to pass a test. Not just to get a job. We learn because we want to understand and be understood. We want to talk, laugh, listen, and feel connected. That's what English can give you: connection. Even one small hello can open a door. Even one how are you can start a story. So today, let's learn how to speak English not only with words, but with warmth, how to make people feel comfortable, welcome, and seen when you speak. Imagine this scene. You're sitting at a cafe. You see someone next to you who looks friendly. They're reading a book or drinking coffee. You smile and say, "Hi, how's your day going?" Simple words, right? But these simple words can create a moment, a real human connection. When you speak English, try not to think only about grammar or vocabulary. Think about emotion. Because people remember how you make them feel, not just what you say. If you smile, if you speak gently, if your eyes are kind, that's communication. That's fluency with heart. Sometimes people think, to speak English well, I need big words. But that's not true. You don't need complicated vocabulary to be a good communicator. You just need clarity, kindness, and emotion. For example, instead of saying, "It is an absolute pleasure to meet you," you can simply say, "It's really nice to meet you." Both mean the same thing, but the second one sounds warmer, more natural, more human. When you speak from your heart, your English becomes alive. Let's talk about listening, because connection is not only about speaking. Good speakers are also good listeners. When someone speaks to you, look at them. Nod your head. Say small words like, "Yeah, I see," "That's nice," or "Really." These small reactions make people feel heard. And when you don't understand something, don't panic. Just say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" or "I didn't catch that. Can you repeat it, please?" These sentences are simple but powerful. They show respect and honesty. And they keep the conversation flowing. Now imagine you're meeting someone new. Maybe it's a classmate, a coworker, or a traveler you meet in your city. You can start with soft, simple sentences. "Hi, where are you from? What do you do? Do you like this place?" Or "Have you been here before?" When you ask these kinds of questions, people feel comfortable. They start to open up. They start to trust you. And when they ask you something, answer naturally, don't rush. Don't worry about mistakes. You can say, "I'm from Bangladesh. I like to read books. I'm learning English because I want to travel." That's real conversation, honest, human, warm. Let's practice a short, friendly conversation together. A. Hi. How's your day going? B. It's going pretty good, thanks. How about you? A. Not bad. Just finished some work. Do you come here often? B. Sometimes, yes. I like the coffee here. It's quiet. A. Yeah, I like that too. What kind of coffee do you usually order? B. Usually a latte. U. A. Same here. Lattes are my favorite. Simple, right? But this small talk creates connection. It shows interest, friendliness, and comfort. That's the kind of English that makes people want to keep talking with you. Now, let's talk about kindness and communication. Kindness doesn't need fancy grammar. It needs warmth. When someone helps you, say, "Thank you so much." When you make a mistake, say, "Sorry about that." When someone looks sad, you can say, "Are you okay?" Or, "Do you want to talk about it?" These small, simple sentences are what make English real. They show emotion. They show care. Even online, when you chat or write messages, you can show kindness through your tone. You can use soft words like, "That's wonderful." "I understand." "Take your time." Don't worry. Every language needs kindness. And when you speak English kindly, people feel your heart, even across the world. Let's imagine another situation. You're at work or at school, and you want to share your opinion. You might feel shy. You might think, "What if my English isn't good enough?" But remember, your voice matters. Your ideas have value. You can start softly with phrases like, "I think," "I feel like," "in my opinion," or "maybe we could try." These phrases make your speech polite but confident. You don't sound rude or scared, you sound thoughtful. For example, "I think we should try a new idea for this project," or "I feel like this story could be told in a different way." When you speak this way, people listen. Because you sound calm, clear, and respectful. Connecting through English doesn't mean talking all the time. Sometimes it's about silence, listening, smiling, being present. Sometimes it's about a small message to a friend, "Hey, I'm thinking of you," or "Hope you're doing okay." Even these short messages in English can build friendships. Because what matters most is not your grammar, it's your sincerity. You can connect with people across countries, cultures, and oceans just by using simple English words that come from the heart. And remember, connection also helps you learn faster. When you talk with people, your brain learns words naturally. You start to remember phrases, accents, emotions. You begin to understand how real English feels. Each conversation becomes your teacher. Each person becomes your classroom. That's how you turn English into something living, not just studying, but connecting. Before we end this section, I want you to imagine this moment. You're sitting somewhere quiet. You think about all the people you've met or will meet through English. Maybe friends online. Maybe a teacher. Maybe someone you haven't met yet, someone who will one day become important to you. You smile and whisper softly, "English helps me connect. English helps me understand people. English helps me share my heart." That's your purpose. That's your reason to keep learning. Because English is not just about words, it's about people. And every time you speak with warmth and kindness, you make the world a little smaller and a little brighter. You've learned how to listen. You've practiced speaking. You've built confidence and started connecting with people. But now comes one of the most beautiful parts of learning English, finding your voice. Your voice is more than just sound. It's the way you share your thoughts, feelings, and truth with the world. And when you find your English voice, something magical happens. You stop copying and you start creating. When you first start speaking English, it's normal to imitate others. You repeat phrases, follow patterns, copy accents. That's how we all begin. But as you grow, you start to realize your English doesn't have to sound like anyone else's. It just needs to sound like you. You might have an accent. You might pause to find words. That's okay. Your accent is your story. Your pauses are your thoughts in motion. Every sound you make carries your experience, your journey, your identity. So never try to erase your voice, learn to own it. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. You look at yourself and say softly, "I have something to say." Then you say it again, louder this time, "I have something to say." That's where it begins, with belief. When you believe your thoughts are worth sharing, your English begins to shine naturally. You stop worrying about mistakes and start focusing on meaning. And meaning, not perfection, is what makes your English powerful. Let's practice something together. Take a deep breath. Now, think of one thing you love. Maybe your family, your dreams, your favorite place. Now say it in English, slowly, like this. I love spending time with my family, or I want to travel the world someday, or I feel happy when I listen to music. Simple, but full of feeling. That's your English voice, soft, clear, and real. Finding your English voice also means finding your emotion. When you speak, let your feelings come through your words. If you're happy, let your tone rise a little. If you're sad, let your voice soften. If you're excited, let your energy fill the sentence. English isn't just grammar, it's rhythm, tone, and heart. For example, listen to the difference between these two. I'm fine and I'm fine. The first sounds flat, the second sounds alive. That's emotion. That's voice. Sometimes, you might feel afraid to speak because your English isn't perfect yet. But remember, even native speakers make mistakes every day. What matters is how you express yourself. When you speak with emotion, people don't hear your mistakes. They hear your meaning. They hear you. So don't hide behind silence. Speak, even when you're unsure. Each word is a small step toward fluency, toward freedom. There's another part of finding your voice: clarity. Clarity means being simple, honest, and direct. Many learners try to use long, complex sentences because they think it sounds smart. But true fluency is being able to say something clearly and simply. Instead of saying, I am endeavoring to improve my linguistic abilities, you can say, I'm trying to get better at English. Same meaning, but natural, friendly, and real. Clear English is strong English. When you speak clearly, people understand you. And when people understand you, you feel confident. Let's talk about confidence for a moment. Confidence is not about being loud or perfect. It's about being comfortable with who you are even when you make mistakes. When you speak English, try to focus on the message, not the fear. Think about what you want to share, not what you want to hide. Here's a small secret. Confidence grows when you practice kindness to others and to yourself. If you forget a word, don't say, I'm bad at English. Just say, oh, I forgot the word, let me try again. If you pronounce something wrong, smile and say, oops, I'll fix that. That's confidence with humility. And that's what makes your English sound natural and alive. Let's imagine this moment. You're in a group of people. Everyone is speaking fast in English. You feel nervous. Your heart beats quickly. You want to say something, but your mind feels blank. What should you do? Take a slow breath. Remind yourself, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be clear. Then speak, even if it's short. You can say, sorry, can I say something? Or, I just want to share my thought, or, I think this idea is interesting. You'll notice something beautiful. Once you start speaking, your fear begins to disappear. Because the only way to overcome the fear of speaking is to speak. Now let's talk about self-expression, the heart of your voice. English gives you new words, but only you give them meaning. Try to express your real feelings when you speak. If you're tired, say, I'm feeling a bit tired today. If you're excited, say, I can't wait to start. If you're confused, say, I don't really understand this part. When you're honest, your English becomes beautiful because it becomes true. Finding your voice also means understanding your rhythm. Every person speaks with a natural rhythm, like music. Listen to how native speakers rise and fall when they talk. Try to notice how their sentences flow. Then, find your own way of speaking, your own melody. Some people speak softly, slowly, calmly. Some speak with energy, passion, and laughter. Both are beautiful. Both are English. Your goal isn't to sound like anyone else, it's to sound like yourself. Sometimes, finding your voice takes time. You'll have days when words don't come easily. You'll have moments when you feel shy or silent. That's okay. Even silence is part of your voice. Because silence shows you're listening, thinking, learning. Be patient with yourself. Your English voice is growing day by day, word by word. Before we end this section, I want you to remember this short affirmation. My English voice is strong. My English voice is growing. My English voice is mine. Say it softly now. Feel it in your heart. You don't need to sound perfect. You just need to sound real. And when you speak from your heart, every listener will understand you, no matter what country they come from, no matter what accent you have, no matter what mistakes you make. Because truth speaks louder than grammar. And your true voice, your English voice, is already inside you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up in the morning. You stretch your arms, look at the sunlight, and quietly say, "Good morning." You didn't translate it. You just said it. It felt natural. That is the beginning of thinking in English. Thinking in English doesn't mean forgetting your first language. It means allowing English to become a comfortable part of your world, so your thoughts and words can flow together without effort. In the beginning, most learners translate everything in their head. You hear a word in English, and your mind runs back to your native language to find the meaning. You want to speak, but your thoughts travel through translation first, and that takes time. It's like walking through a busy city with too many traffic lights. Every time you want to cross, you have to stop and wait. But when you start thinking in English, those traffic lights turn green. You move smoothly, naturally, freely. So how do you train your brain to think in English? It starts with small habits. Simple, daily actions that gently shift your mind. For example, when you see something around you, try to describe it in English, not in your first language. You look at your cup of tea and think, "This tea smells good." You see the rain outside and think, "It's raining again." You look at the time and think, "It's almost 7 o'clock." These are short, easy sentences, but they teach your brain to use English as a natural language of thought. Here's another method. Talk to yourself in English. Yes, it may feel strange at first, but it's powerful. When you walk alone, describe what you're doing. I'm walking to the bus stop. The weather feels nice today. I need to buy some bread later. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need to keep your mind active in English. Speaking quietly to yourself helps your brain build direct connections, thought to word, word to sound, sound to feeling. And little by little, you'll notice something wonderful. You'll stop translating. You'll just speak. Another powerful way to think in English is through listening. The more you listen, the more natural your thinking becomes. When you listen to English stories, podcasts, or videos like Today English Podcast, don't try to understand every single word. Instead, focus on the meaning, the emotion, the sound of the language. Let your ears learn the rhythm of English. Let your mind play with it. Because when you listen deeply, your brain begins to build patterns automatically. That's how babies learn their first language, by listening, not translating. And even as adults, we can learn the same way. Now let's talk about thinking speed. Translation slows you down. But when you think in English, you can respond faster and more naturally. Imagine a friend asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" If you translate, you think in your language first, then change it into English. It takes time. But if you've practiced thinking in English, your mind answers instantly. I watched a movie. I met my cousin. I stayed home and cleaned my room. Simple, natural, smooth. This is how fluency feels, effortless and calm. Some learners say, "But I don't have anyone to practice with." That's okay. You can still think in English anytime, anywhere. When you cook, describe your steps. I'm cutting the vegetables. I'm boiling the rice. I'm washing the dishes. When you walk to work or school, think in English about what you see. There's a little dog. The shop is open. The bus is late again. Turn your day into an English world. You don't need a classroom. Your daily life is your classroom. Now let's go deeper. Sometimes, Learners struggle because their thoughts feel too big for their vocabulary. You might want to say something complex, but you don't know all the words. So you stop speaking. But here's the secret. You don't need difficult words to express deep thoughts. If you can't find a perfect word, use a simple one. If you can't explain everything, say what you can. For example, instead of saying, "I was emotionally overwhelmed," you can say, "I felt very sad and confused." Both are meaningful. Both are true. Don't wait for perfect vocabulary to express yourself. Use the words you have now, and the rest will grow with practice. Here's a small exercise for you. Every night before you sleep, think about your day, but do it in English. Start with, "Today was a good day. I woke up early. I went to school. I met my friends. I felt tired but happy." This little routine helps your brain connect your real life with English thoughts. It's not studying, it's living in English. And over time, English stops feeling like a subject. It becomes a part of you. Another thing that helps is visual thinking. When you hear an English word, try not to connect it to your native word, connect it to a picture. For example, when you hear the word apple, don't think of your native word for apple. Just imagine the fruit itself, red, round, shiny. This is how your brain begins to think directly in English, through pictures, feelings, and sounds, not translations. It's faster, lighter, and more natural. Here's a gentle truth. Learning to think in English takes time. You can't force it in 1 week. But every small effort counts. Each time you describe something in English, each time you listen with focus, each time you dream a little in English, you're training your brain to live in the language. There's a moment that comes to every learner. It's quiet and beautiful. One day, you realize you just had a thought completely in English. You didn't translate. You didn't even notice it happen. And you smile to yourself because that's the moment you've been waiting for. That's the moment when English becomes a part of your life, not just something you study. Before we close this section, I want you to repeat these lines softly in your mind. I can think in English. I can live in English. English is part of me. Say them slowly with belief. Because when you believe it, your brain starts to make it real. And soon, you'll find yourself living your daily life, not in translation, but in English. That's when you'll know you've not only learned a language, you've built a new way of seeing the world. Imagine waking up one morning and English is not something you study anymore. It's something you live. It's in your thoughts, in your music, in your conversations, in your laughter. That's what it means to live in English. It's not about spending hours memorizing grammar rules or long word lists. It's about building small, natural habits that fill your daily life with English so the language becomes part of your rhythm, your routine, your reality. Let's begin with the morning. When you wake up, try to start your day in English. You don't need to speak loudly, just think softly in your mind. Say, "Good morning. It's a beautiful day. I'm feeling a little sleepy. I need to brush my teeth." Simple, real sentences. That's how you warm up your English brain. You can even listen to a short English podcast or song while you get ready. The goal isn't to study, but to surround yourself with the language. When English becomes the sound of your morning, it sets the mood for the rest of the day. Next, let's talk about the home environment. Try to bring English into the space around you. You can label objects, the mirror, the door, the fridge, the window. Every time you look at them, you'll remember the English words naturally. You can also keep a small notebook or sticky notes with short phrases. For example, keep smiling. Drink more water. You can do it. These little notes remind you that English is not far away. It's right there, part of your world. Now, let's move to your daily routine. If you cook, watch short English videos about recipes or cooking tips. If you like music, listen to English songs and try to catch a few lyrics. If you enjoy news, find simple English articles or watch beginner-friendly news programs. You don't need to understand every word, just get the feeling. Let English touch your life naturally. It's like living near the ocean. The more time you spend close to it, the more you understand its waves, its sound, its depth. That's how English works too. Many learners believe they need to travel to an English-speaking country to improve fast. But that's not true. You can live in English anywhere, even in your own home. Because living in English is not about location, it's about attention. If you choose to listen, to think, to speak, even in small moments, you're already living in English. Let's talk about your free time. When you relax, try to enjoy English in ways that feel natural. You can watch a movie with English subtitles. You can listen to English audiobooks while walking or cooking. You can read simple short stories or quotes before bed. The key is to make English part of your pleasure, not your pressure. When you enjoy English, your mind learns faster because it's not afraid. It's curious, it's open, it's happy. Now, here's a little story. There was a man named Daniel. He was from Brazil and wanted to speak English fluently. But he didn't have foreign friends or a chance to travel. So he decided to turn his life into a small English world. He changed his phone language to English. He listened to English podcasts every morning. He wrote his thoughts in an English diary. He even started thinking about his day in English while brushing his teeth. After 1 year, his fluency had changed completely. He could speak naturally and think freely without fear, without translation. Why? Because he didn't study English anymore, he lived it. That's what you can do too. If you want to grow faster, live in English little by little every day. Turn simple things into English practice. For example, when you make your to-do list, write it in English. When you talk to your pet, talk in English. When you scroll on social media, follow English pages. When you watch videos, keep subtitles in English, not your native language. Each of these small actions builds your fluency like drops of water filling a cup. And one day, that cup will overflow and English will just flow out of you, naturally and beautifully. Let's talk about another important part, your mindset. Sometimes learners say, I don't have time. But the truth is, you don't need extra time, you just need new habits. You can practice English while living your normal life. While cooking, cleaning, walking, or exercising. You can listen, repeat, and think in English, all while doing daily things. English is not a subject. It's a skill. And skills grow with use, not with stress. There's one more powerful way to live in English: connection. Find ways to connect with people who speak English or are learning like you. It could be a language partner, an online group, or a friend who enjoys practicing together. Even short conversations make a big difference. When you talk to real people, you stop worrying about grammar and start focusing on meaning. You laugh, you share, you make mistakes, and that's real communication. And remember, the best way to learn a language is to use it with kindness and curiosity. Sometimes, when you live in English, you'll face hard days. Days when you forget words. Days when you feel tired or unmotivated. That's okay. Learning a language is like growing a tree. You don't see it grow every day, but under the surface, roots are spreading slowly, strongly. Your English is growing too, even when you can't see it. So, be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories, a new word, a smoother sentence, a longer conversation. Each one is a sign that your English life is blooming. Before we end this section, I want you to do a short reflection exercise. Close your eyes and think of one moment from your day. It could be when you woke up, ate breakfast, talked to someone, or sat quietly alone. Now, try to describe that moment in English slowly, naturally. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? Let the words come softly, like waves. That's living in English, noticing your world through new words. Now, repeat these short affirmations with me. English is part of my life. I live in English every day. I grow in English naturally. Say them slowly, with peace in your heart. Because when you live in English, fluency is no longer something you chase, it's something you become. Let's be honest, learning English is not always easy. There are days when you feel excited, full of energy, ready to learn everything. And then there are days when you feel tired, lazy, or even lost. Maybe you think, why am I doing this? Maybe you say to yourself, I'll never be fluent. Maybe you feel like giving up. And that's okay. Because every learner, every single one, feels like that sometimes. Motivation is not something we can keep forever. It rises, it falls like waves in the ocean. But what matters is not the size of your wave. What matters is that you keep swimming. Staying motivated is about building a strong reason, a why, deep inside you. So, ask yourself, why do I want to learn English? Is it for your career? For your education? For travel? For connection? For self-growth? Whatever your reason is, make it personal. Don't learn English only because someone told you to. Learn because you feel it, because English opens a door you want to walk through. When your reason comes from your heart, your motivation becomes stronger than your tiredness. Let's take a moment to imagine your why. Close your eyes for a second. See yourself 6 months from now. You're speaking English with confidence. You understand conversations easily. You're writing messages, watching movies, or meeting people from around the world. How does that feel? Proud? Free? Excited? That's your why. Keep that picture alive in your heart. Because every time you feel like giving up, that image will remind you why you started. But even with a strong reason, you still need a plan. Motivation starts the journey, but habit keeps it going. Think of English like brushing your teeth. You don't wait for motivation, you just do it every day. Set small goals. Don't say, I'll study for 3 hours today. Say, I'll listen to English for 10 minutes. I'll learn 5 new words. I'll watch 1 video in English. When you finish, celebrate it. Because success grows from small wins. The secret to motivation is not doing a lot once. It's doing a little every day. There's a saying I love, you don't need to be perfect to start. But you need to start to be perfect. So don't wait for the perfect day or perfect mood. Start where you are, with what you have, and keep moving. Even slow progress is still progress. Sometimes, motivation fades because we compare ourselves to others. We see people who speak faster, write better, or understand more, and we feel small. But remember, they had their beginning too. No one wakes up fluent. Fluency is built through patience, mistakes, and time. Your journey is yours alone. Don't compare, connect. Don't compete, grow. You are not behind. You are learning, step by step, in your own rhythm. Let's talk about one of the strongest forms of motivation, connection. When you connect with people through English, learning becomes joyful. Join online language groups, listen to others, share your thoughts, even if they're simple. When you talk to real people, your English becomes alive. Because now, it's not just words, it's communication, emotion, friendship. And friendship keeps you motivated more than any textbook ever could. Another key to staying motivated is celebration. Most learners forget to celebrate small victories. But small victories are what build big success. Did you speak English for 5 minutes today? Celebrate it. Did you understand a new sentence? Celebrate it. Did you listen to a podcast and catch the meaning? Celebrate it. Clap for yourself. Say, I did something today. Because every time you celebrate, your brain feels happy, and happy brains learn faster. There will be hard days. Days when you feel like nothing is working. Days when you forget words you already knew. Days when you feel slow or tired. But let me tell you something important. These hard days are not signs of failure. They're signs of growth. When you struggle, it means your brain is learning. When it feels difficult, it means you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. So instead of saying, this is hard, say, this is working. Sometimes, to stay motivated, you need inspiration. Watch people who speak English beautifully. Listen to their rhythm, their energy, their confidence. Don't feel jealous, feel inspired. Tell yourself, I can get there too. You can also find inspiration in your past self. Look back and see how far you've come. Remember the first English words you learned? Remember when you couldn't understand a sentence and now you can? That's growth. That's progress. That's something to be proud of. Let's do a small reflection exercise together. Think of 3 moments when you felt proud of your English learning. It could be something small. Maybe you understood a joke in English. Maybe you spoke to a stranger for the first time. Maybe you listened to an English song and understood the lyrics. Now, hold those memories in your heart. Those are your proof, your evidence that you are growing. Every time you doubt yourself, remember those moments. Here's another truth: motivation needs rest. You can't stay motivated if you never take a break. Your brain needs time to relax and recharge. If you feel tired, take a day off. Watch something fun. Listen to music. Go outside. English will still be there when you return, waiting for you gently. Rest is not failure. Rest is fuel. Now, let's talk about self-kindness. Some learners are too hard on themselves. They say, I should be fluent already. Or, I keep making mistakes. But you are learning a whole new way of communicating with the world. That's not easy, that's brave. Every time you speak, even if you make mistakes, you're doing something powerful. You're connecting across languages, across cultures, across hearts. So be kind to yourself. You deserve patience. Before we close this section, let's repeat a few affirmations together. I am learning every day. I am proud of my progress. I will keep going no matter what. Say them slowly, like you mean them. You don't need to be perfect to inspire others. You just need to be real, to keep trying, to keep growing. Because your English journey is not only about language. It's about discovering your strength, your patience, your courage. And every word you learn is proof that you're becoming stronger than yesterday. Reflection is powerful because it helps you understand what truly works for you. Ask yourself, what kind of learning makes me feel excited? What kind of practice makes me feel calm? When do I enjoy English the most? If you like stories, listen to podcasts, read simple books, or watch movies with subtitles. If you like people, join speaking groups or find a partner online. If you like structure, use apps or study plans to guide you. There's no one right way to learn English. The best way is the way that keeps you happy and consistent. So reflect, not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Sometimes we think reflection means looking for mistakes. But real reflection means looking for growth. Think of how you listened to this podcast. Maybe at the start, some words were new. Maybe you had to pause or replay. But now you can follow longer stories, understand expressions, feel the rhythm of English. That's reflection, noticing how far you've come. Even if your progress feels small, it's real. Because understanding one new thing today means you're better than yesterday. Now let's talk about growth. Growth doesn't happen in one big jump. It happens in small, gentle steps, like a tree growing quietly every day. You may not notice it, but it's happening. Every time you listen to English, your brain connects new patterns. Every time you speak, your mouth learns how to move smoothly. Every time you make a mistake, your brain corrects itself a little more. That's growth. So never say, I'm not improving. You are improving even when you can't see it. Let's make a promise to yourself right now. Promise that you'll keep English in your life, not as a heavy task, but as a friend. Promise that you'll listen, speak, and enjoy it, even on quiet days. Promise that you'll keep learning, even if progress feels slow. Because every time you return to English, it welcomes you back, like an old friend saying, I missed you. And that's the beauty of growth. It never disappears. It only waits for you to continue. Now, let's do a simple reflection exercise together. Take a deep breath. Think about 3 moments during this podcast when you felt something, maybe proud, maybe peaceful, maybe inspired. Maybe when you realized how much English you understand. Maybe when you remembered your goals. Maybe when you imagined your future self speaking with confidence. Hold those moments in your heart. Those feelings are signs of growth, emotional and linguistic growth. They are proof that English is now part of your inner world. Reflection also helps you shape your next steps. Maybe you'll decide to listen to one English podcast every morning. Maybe you'll start keeping a small English diary, writing 2 sentences every night. Maybe you'll teach someone else what you've learned. When you share what you learn, your understanding becomes deeper. Because teaching is one of the strongest forms of learning. So don't be afraid to use English in your daily life, in small, real, human ways. Talk to yourself. Describe your day. Ask yourself questions in English. It may sound funny, but it works. Because the more you bring English into your thoughts, the more natural it becomes in your voice. Now, let's talk about the future, your future in English. The journey from beginner to intermediate to advanced is not a straight road. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes down, sometimes it feels slow. But remember this truth. Fluency is not about speaking fast. It's about speaking with comfort. It's about being able to say what you feel, clearly and calmly. You don't need to use big, complicated words. You just need to speak from the heart. And with time, your English voice will become stronger, smoother, more confident, more expressive. Here's something many learners forget. Reflection is not only about the past, it's also about gratitude. Be thankful for your effort. Be thankful for your courage. Be thankful that you're learning something that connects you with millions of people around the world. When you feel grateful, your learning becomes lighter. It feels joyful, not stressful. Because gratitude turns every small step into a celebration. As we near the end of this journey, I want to remind you of something very important. You are not alone. Every English learner, in every country, goes through the same challenges: fear, confusion, mistakes, progress, joy. You are part of a global family of learners, all walking together toward understanding. That means every time you study, someone else somewhere is studying too. Every time you struggle with a word, someone else is struggling too. And every time you smile because you understood something, someone else is smiling too. That connection is beautiful. That's what makes language human. Before we close this section, I want you to repeat a few words with me. I am growing. I am learning. I am becoming confident. English is my friend. Say it with a smile. Say it with belief. Because reflection is not about ending the journey. It's about realizing that the journey is already happening beautifully every single day. As we move to the final part of our story, we'll talk about something very special: how to turn your English learning into a lifestyle so that every day becomes an opportunity to listen, speak, and grow naturally. Stay with me. You're listening to Today English Podcast, where we grow together, one word, one feeling, one story at a time. When you start learning English, it often feels like a subject, something separate, something you sit down to study. But when you truly grow, English stops being a subject. It becomes a part of your life, like music, like breathing, like the morning sunlight. That's what we call living with English. It's not about studying for long hours. It's about making English live around you, naturally, quietly, beautifully. When English becomes part of your world, you don't even realize you're learning, you're just living it. Let's think about your daily life for a moment. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you hear? Maybe the sound of birds, maybe traffic, maybe silence. Now imagine, what if you add a little English there? You could start your day by listening to one short English podcast, maybe something simple and friendly, like this one. You could read one quote or say one sentence to yourself in English. It doesn't have to be long, even 30 seconds is enough. That small action tells your brain, English is part of my life. And when you repeat that every day, it becomes a habit, a beautiful, easy habit that slowly changes you from the inside. You see, habits are powerful. They don't need motivation. They work quietly, automatically. So instead of forcing yourself to study hard, focus on creating little habits. For example, listen to an English story while you cook. Watch an English video while you eat. Read one English sentence before bed. Talk to yourself in English while cleaning your room. When you do this, English becomes your background music, always playing softly in your life, always reminding you to grow. Now, some people say, but I don't have time. And that's okay. You don't need hours, you just need moments. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference if you use it well. Think of English like a plant. You don't need to flood it with water all at once. You just need to water it a little every day. And soon, it grows quietly, beautifully, naturally. So make English your small, daily plant. Care for it gently. Watch it grow without pressure, without stress. Another beautiful way to live with English is to connect emotion with language. Don't just learn words, feel them. When you say, thank you, feel gratitude. When you say, I'm happy, smile. When you say, I'm tired, take a deep breath and rest. Because language is not just grammar, it's emotion. And when your feelings connect with your words, English becomes alive inside you. Let's talk about one of the most natural teachers in the world, music. Music makes English easier because rhythm helps memory. Try listening to English songs. Sing along softly. Don't worry about perfect pronunciation, just enjoy the sound. Even humming an English song helps your mouth, your ears, your rhythm. And when you enjoy it, your brain learns faster. Because joy is the best teacher. Another wonderful way to make English part of your life is through stories. Stories are like windows. They let you see the world through someone else's eyes. Read or listen to short stories in English. They don't have to be complicated. Even children's stories are great. They teach emotion, rhythm, and meaning. When you listen to a story, don't focus only on the words, listen to the feeling. How does the storyteller sound? When do they pause? When do they smile or sound surprised? That's how you learn real, natural English, not from grammar books, but from voices. Now, let's talk about something very important, your environment. Your environment shapes how you feel and learn. If you surround yourself with English, even a little, your progress grows naturally. Change your phone language to English. Label things in your room, write mirror, window, door. Watch your favorite shows with English subtitles. Read short English messages online. Even if you don't understand everything, that's okay. You're training your brain to think in English. Every time your eyes see English, every time your ears hear it, your brain becomes a little more comfortable. And one day, you'll realize English doesn't feel foreign anymore. It feels familiar. Let's be honest, there will be days when you don't want to listen, read, or practice. That's normal, because we are human. But even on those days, you can still live with English in small, gentle ways. Maybe you just think one simple thought in English, I'm tired. Maybe you just smile at a word you remember. That's still English. You don't always have to push hard. Sometimes, just staying close to the language is enough. Living with English also means using it with others. Find people who want to learn like you. It could be online, in your school, or even a friend who's curious. Talk about your day in English. Ask simple questions. How was your morning? What did you eat today? What are you watching? These small conversations are golden because they turn English from a study task into a real-life tool. And when English becomes real, you never forget it. Here's something special I want you to remember. Learning English is not only about the language itself, it's about who you become through the process. You become patient. You become brave. You become open to new ideas and new people. Every time you practice English, you're also practicing confidence. You're learning how to express your heart. You're learning how to listen to others with understanding. And that's something beautiful because English becomes more than words. It becomes a bridge connecting you to the world. Now, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. Say softly in your heart, English is part of my life. I learn through living. I grow through every small step. Let those words sink in. Because when you live with English, not fight with it, not fear it, not rush it, you grow faster than you ever imagined. And remember, you don't need to be perfect to be proud. You just need to keep going. One story, one podcast, one sentence at a time. So, from today, Make English your quiet companion, a voice that walks beside you through your mornings and nights, through your thoughts and dreams, through your challenges and victories. Let English live with you, not as a subject to pass, but as a friend to grow with. And as we come to the end of this long, warm journey, I want you to smile. Because if you've listened all the way here, you've already done something incredible. You've practiced listening, you've practiced patience, and most importantly, you've practiced believing in yourself. You are living proof that learning English is possible, beautiful, and human. So keep listening, keep feeling, keep living with English every single day. And now, as we come to the end of this journey together, take a moment to smile, because you did it. You listened. You learned. You grew. Maybe you didn't understand every word, but that's okay, because learning is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every sentence you heard today became part of your story. Every moment you stayed present made your English stronger. Remember, you don't need to rush. English will grow with you, day by day, word by word, story by story. So keep listening, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Because every time you practice, you're not just learning English, you're becoming more confident, more open, more you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. This is Today English Podcast, where learning feels like living, and every word brings you closer to the world.